So as much as I'm excited that the NFL draft is merely 2 days away, it pains me to say that this will be my final Green Bay Packers 7-round mock draft. This is version 11.0. Now, I will be doing a Brian Gutekunst mock draft where I pretty much guess what the Packers are going to pick or what Gutekunst would do at every pick, and that will be released tomorrow or early Thursday. But in this mock draft, this is my last personal Green Bay Packers 7-round mock draft. So in this one, I'm going to be trying to take the players that I like. I'm going to be looking at my draft crushes, and I'm going to be trying to select them at the picks the Packers have or trade up/down to fit those players better. We've gone through so many different scenarios and situations with the 10 previous mock drafts, and yeah, I've definitely circled some of my draft crushes in some of them, but this one is going to be purely that. It's simply going to be the mock that I want the Green Bay Packers to do. Also, guys, I will be live for nights 1 and 2 of the NFL draft. Night 1 starting at 7:30 Eastern, 30 minutes before the start of the NFL draft here live on YouTube, and then night 2 at 6:45 Eastern, 15 minutes before the start of round 2 on Friday night. So make sure to go turn on post notifications so you'll get notified when that live stream goes up. Come hang out, watch the draft, react to it. It's going to be a good time. And also, if you happen to be a new viewer here, we're going to be breaking down every single pick of the Green Bay Packers on this channel. So make sure to go down and click subscribe if you do want all of those videos, all that content after the draft happens. All right, so without further ado, let's bring up the draft screen and let's get into my final Packers 7-round mock draft of the 2024 offseason. It's been a wild ride. I appreciate everyone coming by to the channel every week for a new mock draft. Mock draft season is definitely one of my favorites for all of football the whole year. So like I said, I'm so excited the draft is 2 days away, but I'm definitely going to miss making a weekly mock. So as we see here, everything is the same. The Packers pick at 25. They still have 11 picks. Gutekunst said yesterday he would even like to have more picks than 11, somewhere around that 13 to 14 range. Who knows if he's being truthful about that or it's some type of smokescreen for him to move up in the first round. I'm not really sure, but hey, the Packers very well could end up with a lot of draft picks coming out of this draft. So let's get to the point where I feel the need to either trade up or to pick 25. All right, so we're at pick 25. Didn't need to trade up. Let's quickly run over the picks that have happened so far. Caleb Williams at 1, Jaden Daniels at 2, Drake May at 3, Neighbors goes at 4, first receiver off the board, Adunze at 5, second receiver off the board. You know, that's not going to happen. Let's just be plain and simple. That's not going to happen. J.J. McCarthy at 6, Marvin Harrison all the way to 7. The Titans would be ecstatic if that somehow happened. Joe Alt at 8, Turner at 9, Latham at 10 to the Jets, Brock Bowers at 11 to the Vikings because that just continues to happen on these simulators for some reason. Jared Verse at 12 to the Broncos, Fashanu to the Raiders, Quinyon Mitchell to the Saints, Brian Thomas to the Colts, Fuaga to the Seahawks, Graham Barton to the Jags, Fotano to the Bengals, Terrion Arnold to the Rams, Tyler Guyton to the Steelers, Byron Murphy to the Dolphins there, Nate Wiggins to the Eagles, Latu to the Vikings, Amarius Mims to the Cowboys, and we're on the clock at pick 25, and you can see some of the players available. Cooper DeJean, Johnny Newton, A.D. Mitchell, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Jackson Powers Johnson. Out of those, my pick here, the top 3, would be either Cooper DeJean, Kool-Aid McKinstry, and probably Johnny Newton in terms of what I would want the Packers to do in this situation. Now, this one's an easy one for me. This one is what I want the Packers to do, and I'm sure a lot of you agree. I know there's some people that don't, but I really want the Packers to select Cooper DeJean in the first round. Gutekunst actually was asked about him in his press conference yesterday about his versatility, and Gutekunst made it known that he believes Cooper DeJean has a tremendous amount of versatility. He can play outside. He can play inside. He could play at safety. And we know how the Packers love their versatile players. Now, this is my pick for the Green Bay Packers. And although usually every year it's like, oh, I really want them to draft this guy, in the back of my mind, I'm like, they're probably not going to. I don't feel that as much for Cooper DeJean. I still think they could go another route, or Cooper DeJean simply just gets selected before pick 25 and the Packers don't trade up for him. In the simulator, he falls to 25, which would be amazing. And if that happens, yes, maybe the Packers select him. But I do feel he could go before 25, and then the Packers end up with, say, a Kool-Aid McKinstry or someone else, right? So this is what I want the Packers to do. This could involve a trade up. This could involve them just sitting at 25 and he falls to 25. But I would love for the Packers to get Cooper DeJean. I think he'll fit in this defense wonderfully wherever you want to play him. If you want to play him in the slot, he could do that. Tremendous run defender. If you want to play him at safety next to Xavier McKinney in a 2-deep look, he could do that. He was tremendous in a cover 3 type of zone, a quarters type of zone. So, he could definitely do that. A lot of people say he can't be a press man corner. Iowa simply didn't run it that much. When I watched his tape, I thought he did a fine job at press man. Now, given it was only 3 games I watched, but I thought he did just fine, and I think he will do just fine at the NFL level if you put him in a press man situation. He has the athleticism. He has the physicality. So Cooper DeJean is going to be my first pick in my last mock draft of 2024. This is my personal mock draft. So again, I'm picking all the players I want and what I want the Packers to do. So pick 25, we're going Cooper DeJean, cornerback or safety, just defensive back. Cooper DeJean out of Iowa. Before we get into round 2, I wanted to remind you guys and give a shout out to today's video sponsor, Sleeper, and they're sponsoring this giveaway of this signed Lucas Van Ness Packers home jersey here, and you have 8 days to get in on this giveaway, and it's very simple to enter. Simply go download Sleeper, link down in the description, sign up, make an account, and make a first-time deposit using code BASS, B-A-S. That'll enter you in this giveaway, as well as get your first deposit matched up to $500. So for example, if you deposit $250 with code BASS, you'll then have $500 in your account to play with on Sleeper and be entered in this signed Lucas Van Ness jersey giveaway. And if you're unaware, Sleeper is a daily fantasy sports app where you simply choose higher or lower on a particular stat. For example, right now you can choose points, rebounds, and even more stats of many NBA players during the NBA playoffs right now. So you definitely want to get in on that action. You can choose between 2 to 8 selections and get up to 100 times payouts. It's a very easy and clean app to use, and it offers quick payouts. So again, go down in the description, download Sleeper, use code BASS for a first-time deposit, get that deposit matched and entered in this signed Lucas Van Ness Packers jersey here. Guys, supporting the sponsor is supporting the channel. Again, thank you to Sleeper for sponsoring today's video. So we're back on the clock at pick 41 here in the second round, and honestly, in my opinion, at this pick, this could be a potential trade down situation in terms of how the board falls, because some of the players I like are lower, and some of the current players on the board right now, and given this is just the PFF simulator, boards are obviously different, right? I'm still looking at the consensus big board when I do these things as well, but it's pretty much the same. And some of the players up here, Peyton Wilson, Tyler Nubin, I'm not a huge fan of. Zach Frazier, I just don't see the Packers going Zach Frazier in the second round. You have Adiza Isaac, Roman Wilson out receiver, Keon Coleman. I know a lot of people say Keon Coleman would be a nice pick. I just don't feel the need to get the Packers a wide receiver in the second round. Jatavian Sanders, Braden Fisk, and you just keep going down and down and down until I start to see players that I actually like. Chris Jenkins, Jaden Hicks, Karan Amagaji, Edgerrin Cooper, Marshawn Nealon. There's so many players down here that I like a lot better. So for me, since this is my personal mock draft and what I want the Packers to do, I'm going to explore a trade down. And the trade I found and that I do like the value here is trading down to 52. So you're trading down 11 spots here with the Los Angeles Rams. So you'd be swapping 41 and 52, and you'd simply be picking up a compensatory pick at the end of the third round, really tripling up the end of that third round there at pick 99. It's about the same exact value. Go ahead and offer that trade. It's going to be accepted. Let's get to our pick. So we're on the clock at 52, and there's still some of the players we mentioned at 41 still sitting on the board, such as Zach Frazier. I still don't think I'd pick him at 52. Adiza Isaac, I'm not huge on him. Braden Fisk, I'm not too huge on him. I think Chris Jenkins is much higher than Braden Fisk in my opinion, and I believe he would fit the Packers defense much better than Braden Fisk, just in terms of what they're looking for. Chris Jenkins, in my opinion, is the best run-stopping defensive lineman in this draft class, and it's not really close. He's still great at getting after the passer, too. He did have 2 sacks last year, but that's not his forte. But he still does have a 11.0% pass rush win rate, but a 12.6% run-stop rate. Nephew of Colin Jenkins, right? It just makes sense. He's also a tremendous athlete with amazing speed for his size, an 8.99 RS at defensive tackle, nearly 6'3", 300 pounds, 29 bench reps. This guy's very strong and also has elite speed, a 4'9", 140. Didn't qualify for agility, but great explosion as well with a 9'7" broad jump and a 30-inch vertical. He's one of my favorite defensive linemen. I really like the thought of the Packers picking up Chris Jenkins and adding him into that defensive line room. I do think they're missing like a pure great run stopper. I think TJ Slayton's all right as that run stopping type of defensive tackle, but I think Chris Jenkins would just be even better there and an upgrade, a massive upgrade. So at pick 52, after the trade down, we are going Chris Jenkins, or the mutant defensive lineman out of Michigan. Now we're on the clock at pick 58, and Edgerrin Cooper went right at 57, and he's one of my favorite guys, and is also a guy that I think the Packers may be looking at. So there's definitely going to be some crossover here from when I make my Gute mock draft tomorrow. There might be some same picks that you see in this mock draft that you see in the next one, but there definitely is some difference there. But Edgerrin Cooper went at 57, so pick before us at 58, so we can't even get him even if we wanted to. But that's completely fine for me because there's still players on this board that I might even select over Edgerrin Cooper, right? And it's going to be Karan Amagaji. He's a guy that I've liked more and more as I've done more research on him. Yes, coming off a torn quad in 2024, and plays at a lower level of competition, but I'm really, really intrigued by Karan Amagaji as a potential tackle or future tackle for the Green Bay Packers. And we know how they want to add more tackle talent. You know, they just signed Andre Dillard. They only have really Zach Tom and Rasheed Walker, and now Dillard with actual NFL snaps on the roster, and they might move Zach Tom into center. So a future offensive line of Zach Tom at center, Rasheed Walker at either left or right tackle, Karan Amagaji at either left or right tackle, whichever fits best for the both of them, Elton Jenkins in at left guard, and then whoever, I guess, fits the bill at right guard for the future. I think that would be a great offensive line. At 89.5 PFF grade last year, again, only in 4 games, but has not allowed a sack in the last 2 seasons, only allowed 1 quarterback hit in the last 2 seasons, and 9 quarterback hurries. Now, some people might say this is a bit early for Karan Amagaji, where I'd agree that, you know, he might be an early 3rd round pick in this upcoming draft. I wouldn't be surprised for a team to take him at the end of the 2nd round. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I think there's going to be a run on tackles because this is such a heavy offensive lineman type of draft. And Karan Amagaji at this point in this draft, I believe, is the next best tackle. Brandon Coleman's a guard, in my opinion. So Karan Amagaji, I think, is the next best tackle. So if that's the case, I do see him going in the back end of the 2nd round, and I would be more than happy if the Packers selected him at pick 58. So we're going Karan Amagaji, tackle out of Yale, here at 58. So we are going to make a trade up here. We have 3 picks in the back end of the 3rd round due to that trade down from 41. We have 88, 91, and 99. So I don't mind giving up one of these here. And this is the value on the Rich Hill chart. So we'd also be giving up 126, which I'm okay with because, again, we're moving up here, selecting a player I really like, and we still have 91 and 99. And then there's a bit of a drop off to 169, but again, we could trade down with one of these 91s or 99. So we're going to go ahead and send that trade. And although I'd really, really like Marshawn Kneeland here at 72, and this is great value for him, I was trading up for Junior Colson. I really like the thought of Junior Colson in this defense as that strong side linebacker that the Packers are kind of missing right now. Although I love Edgerrin Cooper, he's a weak side linebacker, tried and true. So a lot of people argue, well, Quay Walker, he's kind of already our weak side linebacker. But Junior Colson fits exactly the gap that the Packers have right now at strong side backer. Wonderfully, in my opinion. 6'3", 247 pounds, still 21 years old. I think getting a 21-year-old linebacker with the production like Junior Colson in the 3rd round would be absolutely tremendous value. An 80.0 run defense grade last year, 83.4 coverage grade, and he had one of the lowest missed tackle rates of all linebackers at 4.7% missed tackle rate. Only missed 5 tackles on 68 tackles last year. Only missed 7 tackles on 60 tackles the year before that. Good in coverage, only allowed a 69.4% completion percentage and a 90.6 passer rating. Like I said, I think he fits perfectly into this Packers defense as a strong side guy, super high football IQ, and I think it would be a perfect fit for the Packers. Another linebacker to add into that room with Isaiah McDuffie and Quay Walker. So here at pick 72, we are going Junior Colson, linebacker out of Michigan. So here we are at pick 91, and some of the players on the board I really like are Cooper Beebe, D'Adrian Taylor Demerson, And then also down here, we have Dominic Pooney. Now, Cooper Beebe is criminally underrated on PFF, in my opinion. Ranked 93, average draft position right around the same at 93. I think Cooper Beebe could be a round 2 pick, like even early round 2. Like when we see Friday night, Cooper Beebe will, in my opinion, 100% be off the board here at pick 91. So although I do love Cooper Beebe and he's one of my top guards on my big board for this upcoming draft, I just really don't see him being available at 91. So I kind of want to make this also somewhat realistic and my pick of what I want the Packers to do. So if, yes, Cooper Beebe fell to 91, 100% run that card up and select Cooper Beebe at 91. But what I think is more realistic is Dominic Pooney. Cooper Beebe is the 60th ranked prospect on the consensus big board, and Dominic Pooney, I believe, is 88th. So this fits exactly where we're at. And I also love Dominic Pooney as a guard at the NFL level. I think he fits the Green Bay Packers. I think he's a Packers type of pick, and he very well could be in my Gute mock as well. This could be one of those crossovers. I love Dominic Pooney, and I think he fits the Packers very well, and it's a player that I think Gute might draft. So here at pick 91, we are going Dominic Pooney, guard out of Kansas. I think he plugs right into guard for the Green Bay Packers, and a future offensive line of Rasheed Walker, Elton Jenkins, Zach Tom, Dominic Pooney, and Karan Amagaji. I think that would be an awesome offensive line. So we're selecting Dominic Pooney here, guard out of Kansas at pick 91. So we are indeed going to try to trade down here from pick 99. There's some players slightly down the board that just fit better slightly lower. And I do want to pick up another pick before we would then pick again at 169, which is a 70 pick gap there. So I want to kind of dampen that a little bit. And we're going to trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars at 114. And this is the exact value here. We'd be swapping 99 and 114. We'd be picking up 153 and then also giving them 255. So let's go ahead and offer that trade and let's get to our pick. So we're here at 114 and there's a couple options that I'm kind of pondering over right now. One of which is Jarrian Jones, one of my favorite cornerbacks coming out of this class, and I believe is going to be a great nickel corner at the NFL level. But we already selected Cooper DeJean, and although I think he could be a starting outside cornerback, I think he might be better at nickel just due to his run defense prowess, right? Jarrian Jones is also excellent. 87.0 coverage grade, good run defense, great man coverage out of Florida State. 6 foot, 191 pounds, just about 23 years old. He has a 9.61 RAS, including a 4.38 40. The guy has elite speed and elite explosion, 39.5 vertical there. But I also really do like Mohamed Kamara out of Colorado State. I believed I mocked him to the Packers in my last mock draft, and you just can't simply overlook the production. An 85.9 grade last year with 14 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, 38 quarterback hurries, a pass rush win rate of 19.4%, pretty average run stop rate there, a pass rush grade of 91.2. And I do believe the Packers need to add, another edge into that room. But if I were to sit here right now, and even after selecting Cooper DeJean and ask, which room is weaker, it would probably still be that cornerback room because, hey, I liked what I saw with Carrington Valentine last year, but who knows if he's going to either remain that, take a step down, or, maybe even take a step up in 2024. We don't know what we have with Eric Stokes. Like, is that guy ever going to return to his former self? You have Keyshawn Nixon in the slot, but honestly, if you know me, you know my channel, you know how I simply just want to upgrade that. And yes, they paid him his money, but competition is great. And Jarrian Jones has been one of my draft crushes throughout the entire process. So since this is the last mock and my personal mock and my draft crush mock, I do like Mohamed Kamara and what he would add to that room. I'm going to go Jarrian Jones here. I think the value here is excellent at 114. He's 139 on the consensus big board, but I think the beginning of the fourth round is exactly where he fits, and that's awesome value. And I think whatever team drafts him, hopefully it's the Packers, they're going to get a steal. They're definitely going to get a steal. And I just love Jarrian Jones. So I'm going to stop talking about it as much, and I'm going to select him. I'm going to go Jarrian Jones, cornerback out of Florida State here at 114. So we're on the clock at 153, and my heart was just broken. The Colts went Malik Mustafa at 151, and I actually paused on that pick, and I was like, I should probably trade up here. Even though it's just 2 spots, I really want Malik Mustafa. I feel like he might get selected by either the Colts or the Commanders, and I was like, no way, right? And it happened. So ideally, I would have loved Malik Mustafa here at 153 in the 5th. But at the same time, on the consensus big board, Mustafa is the 137th ranked prospect. So this is already kind of late for him. And if the Packers were able to get him around this mark, that's tremendous value. But a player that's 136 on the consensus big board, and you guys also know I love, is Katan Oladapo. I wanted both of them, honestly. I wanted Malik Mustafa here and Katan Oladapo at 169, and both of those values slightly below the consensus big board or behind would be tremendous value for both of them. And I would love both of them in the safety room. I think they're both tremendous athletes. They both have a ton of versatility, and adding them into that safety room would be awesome. But, that simply isn't the way it went. But I'd be fine with either one of these guys. Like, if it ended up going this way, where you can't get both, and you either get one of Malik Mustafa or Katan Oladapo, I'm happy with either. Honestly, they're very, similarly ranked for me. So here at pick 153, we're going to go Katan Oladapo. I did a video on him. You guys know how much I like him. We used to be able to get him in the 7th round on these mock simulators, and I tell you guys how ridiculous that was, because Oladapo is going to go in the 5th round at the latest. He could even slide into the late 4th round, in my opinion. He's one of the better safeties in terms of, versatility and all around in this class, and he was criminally underrated for a while. A 91.3 run defense grade, forced incompletion rate of 19.4%, coverage grade 84.4%. The Packers' new defensive quality control coach is Anthony Perkins, who used to be the cornerbacks coach at Oregon State last year, so the fit also makes sense. We see the versatility, 174 deep, 292 in the box, 278 in the slot. We need a box safety, and I think Oladapo fits that bill exactly. So we're going Katan Oladapo here at pick 153, safety out of Oregon State. So we're back on the clock at pick 169, and we skipped out on edge earlier and went Jarrian Jones. So I'm going to address it here with one of my favorite, 5th to 6th round edge players, and that is Braden McGregor out of Michigan. I think the value in the 5th to 6th round for him is excellent. And I think he also fit for what the Green Bay Packers like at edge. And although this is my personal mock, a lot of my thought process on the guys I like is also because, hey, I think they would do well on the Green Bay Packers. And that's part of the reason why I like them, right? 6'6", 267 pounds, still only 22 years old, will be 23 over the summer. We see last year's 74.1 overall grade. He had 5 sacks last year, pass rush grade good, run defense grade good, pass rush win rate of 14.5%, also a very good run stop rate of 9.7%, so good job, containing the edge, stopping the run to the outside there. And I think just add another Michigan edge guy into that room with Rashawn Gary, why not? He's a pretty decent athlete as well, 7.47 RAS, 6'5", so he's listed as 6'6" on PFF, but he's actually 6'5", 257 pounds, good speed grade at a 4.77, a great 10-yard split at 1.63, good explosion, and didn't qualify for agility. But I still really like him, and I think he's great value here in the 5th round, especially at 169. So we're going to go Braden McGregor, edge out of Michigan, here at pick 169. Here at 202, I actually was eyeing Trey Taylor, so another safety sniped right before our pick, and it hurts to go to the Detroit Lions. He's a player out of Air Force that I really like. I mocked him to the Packers in some of my early mock drafts, and I do like him as, say, a 6th to 7th round safety to add to another guy, someone like Katan Oladapo, add also Trey Taylor. But he was selected, so I'm going to address running back here. I'm not as high on needing a running back as most. I know some people select guys in the 3rd to 4th round. Now, I will say this, if for some reason Trey Benson fell to 88, I would 100% pick him. He's, probably my favorite running back out of the draft class. So if Trey Benson is available at 88, sure, I'm all for it. But he simply wasn't in this, and he probably won't be on day 2 of the draft. So we're going to address running back here at 202. And some of the options I like here, I love Isaac Grendo, and that's who we're going to go with. But I also like Dylan Laub due to the receiving presence. Last year, 68 receptions for 708 yards. The year before that, 49 receptions, 474 yards. An explosive runner. But I really like the thought of Isaac Grendo. I think he fits the NFL profile more at a running back for the future. Yeah, he's almost 24 years old, but 6'1", 225 pounds. And if you look at his athletic profile, we've gone over him before. And I know a lot of people don't like him due to the lack of production, but a lot of people also like him because he was, at Wisconsin for a bit there. 4.33 40-yard dash. Elite speed at this size. 6 foot, 221 pounds with a 4.33 40. Simply just looking at this, you go, wow, the potential of this guy is insane. A great agility grade. Elite explosion at 41.5-inch vertical. Again, the production not quite there. 810 yards last year, not terrible. 11 touchdowns, but also, had 22 receptions for 234 yards. So can be a receiver out of the backfield as well. Yards after contact, 4.11 per attempt. So great after contact, 543 yards after contact, 31 missed tackles, 14 carries last year, 15 plus yards. Extremely explosive, and I think just would be a perfect running back 3 behind Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon. So at 202, we're going Isaac Grendo, running back out of Louisville. So we're on the board at 219, and a player I like is Omar Brown out of Nebraska, but he's going to be a nickel corner at the NFL level, and we already got Jerry Jones and Cooper DeJean, and I think we need to add another safety into the room. So although I'm sorting this by cornerback, and he's listed as a cornerback, Ryan Watts, he's a safety at the NFL level. And I'll show you why. I mean, great run defense, 79.6 grade. In terms of the size, 6'3", 206, still 22 years old. Not great the past few seasons in terms of a cornerback, right? Like he allowed 125 passer rating last year and 87.5 the year before that. But when you run him as a free safety at RAS, you could see why he just fits into the safety room better and why he's projected as a safety at the NFL level. A 9.12 RAS, almost 6'3", 208 pounds, good speed for a safety, 4.53, great agility, a great shuttle, a great 3-cone, and also elite explosion, 40.5-inch vertical, 10'5" broad jump. He's one of my favorite players here in the 7th round at safety, and that's if Trey Taylor's off the board. He would be a selection here at 219. I'd like more than Ryan Watts, but in terms of who's left, Ryan Watts is my favorite at a safety pick. So we're going Ryan Watts, safety out of Texas, here at pick 219. With our final pick in my final personal mock draft, we're going to go Dallas Gant, linebacker out of Toledo. And you could see the production the last 2 seasons, and I think he would be an awesome 7th round selection for depth in that inside linebacker room, but also as a core special teamer. An 87.0 grade last year, had 88 tackles with only 8 missed tackles. That's absolutely insane. A low missed tackle rate of 6.3%. So adding like Junior Colson and Dallas Gant, 2 guys that are two of the most sure tacklers in this linebacker class, an 87.2 run defense grade, an 83.0 coverage grade, so he's not bad in coverage either. Plays at less competition, but still. Had an interception, passer rating allowed of 75.3. And the last 2 seasons, the production, 88 tackles last year, 75 the year before that. Gant, once an Ohio State player, a transfer from 2021. You could see barely played at Ohio State, had a poor grade, transferred to Toledo for more playing time, and absolutely blew up in terms of a linebacker. So I think this is a great steal, a sleeper type of pick in my opinion at 245. And he's a player I hope the Packers maybe select on day 3 of the draft. So we're going Dallas Gant to finish up this mock draft, linebacker out of Toledo at pick 245. So now let's go over my final mock draft of the 2024 season. At pick 25, Cooper DeJean falls right into our laps at 25. Will he fall to 25? Probably not. Will the Packers go up and trade up for him? They may. But if he does fall to 25, I do believe that could be the Packers' pick. I think he just fits perfectly into this defense. Even Gute talked about him yesterday. And he's one of my personal favorites in the first round, or probably is my favorite pick for the first round for the Green Bay Packers. Then we go Chris Jenkins after a trade down. In my opinion, he's tremendously underrated, and I feel like Chris Jenkins could go early in the 2nd round possibly. I think he's the best run defensive lineman in this draft class, and that's exactly what the Packers need. Nephew of Colin Jenkins, it just makes sense. And the guy's nicknamed the Mutant. Like, get that guy on my defense, right? Then at pick 58, we go Karan Amagaji. Maybe a little early for some people's likings, but I have him ranked a lot higher than the consensus board, and I like the thought of him in this Packers offensive line. He's one of my favorite tackles here in this range, and the Packers need to add a tackle. Then we go Junior Colson after a trade up. And this was right after Edgerrin Cooper was off the board. But honestly, I'm starting to become more and more of a Junior Colson guy than I am an Edgerrin Cooper. Even though I think the Packers may like Edgerrin Cooper over someone like Junior Colson. Such a sure tackler, high IQ guy. Tons of experience and still 21 years old. Dominic Pooney at 91. Cooper Beebe was on the board in this simulator, but I don't think any way he's going to be there at 91. So we went Dominic Pooney just because it's more realistic, and I really like him as well. And like I said, this might be one of those crossover picks when you see my Gutekunst mock draft tomorrow, where it's like it's on this mock and that mock as well, because it just makes sense to me. Dominic Pooney makes sense as a Green Bay Packer. Then we have Jerry Jones at 114, cornerback out of Florida State. In my opinion, one of the better pure nickel cornerbacks in this draft. I'm very high on him. I think this is awesome value in the 4th round. And although we got Cooper DeJean, who can play the nickel, but, is versatile, can play outside if we need him, can play deep if we need him. Jarrian Jones is that nickel guy, and I think would be an upgrade over Keyshawn Nixon in the long term. Then we go Ketan Oladapo at 153. We missed out on Malik Mustafa, but I'm completely fine with Ketan Oladapo. I think he fits into that box safety role that the Packers need. We go Braden McGregor at 169, one of my favorite late round edges. He has the length, he has the strength, he has the production, good against the run as well. I like the pick there at 169. Then we finally go running back in the 6th round. I know a lot of people are going to be like, you need to go running back earlier. Hey, I'm completely fine with Isaac Grendo being my 3rd running back behind Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon. I just think he'd be a perfect 3rd running back behind those guys. Extreme athlete, prototypical size, also can be used in the receiving game. Then we go safety, Ryan Watts out of Texas at 219, one of my sleeper picks. I think he transitions into safety in the NFL level, starts out as a core special teamer, but then can come in and be a solid depth rotational type of safety. And if the Packers have Xavier McKinney, Anthony Johnson Jr., Ketan Oladapo, Ryan Watts, and then maybe someone like Benny Sapp, I'm fine with that safety room. I think Xavier McKinney is going to be amazing, and he's going to make the other guys, not have to do as much when they're on the field. Then we wrap things up with Dallas Gant at 245, another one of my favorite sleeper guys at linebacker. 2 years of great production at Toledo after transferring from Ohio State. A ton of tackles, low missed tackle percentage, core special teamer day one, 100%, but also adds linebacker depth that the Packers need. I'd be so happy with the Junior Colson and a Dallas Gant double linebacker draft in this draft class. So that does it for my final Green Bay Packers mock draft. Man, it still hurts to say. Version 11.0. Like I said, I'll be making my Gutekunst mock. It'll probably come out tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Let me know down in the comments for the final time, what do you think of my mock draft? Again, these are all my draft crushes, right? I didn't get every one of my draft crushes. That's simply not possible. But I definitely chose my guys over maybe some of the, higher ranked guys that were available on the board at the time. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. But I'll catch you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. And as always, go Pack Go.